Hi, and thank you so much for joining me for today's process video. Today I'm documenting a photo of myself and Amelia from I think it was November last year when we went to, the year before, sorry, 2023, we went to Loughborough. We were going for a meal out and just took this snap in our travel lodge before we headed out, and I really like the picture of the two of us. So I've pulled out Rainbow Avenue from Celes, Gonzalo, and specifically this paper that's got the rainbow stripes going down it. I'm so sorry if you can hear that noise in the background. Our neighbour's doing some restoration work on their house and it's very, very noisy drill. So I decided that I wanted to add strips across the page in rainbow order per the original paper, but just focusing in on each of the colours. So I've chosen the pink, then the orange, and pulling out the bits in between that are sort of blended colours, if you like. I hope that makes sense. And I'm just going to position these strips going down the page. I realised that I'd made them too wide at the beginning, so that's why I'm pulling these blended colours off each of the strips, and then I can carry on. So we've got the green one next, and then I'm going in with the lilac-y blue at the end. So almost there. Just checking that I'm happy that I've got enough strips to hold the photo that's going to be sitting there with some photo mats as well. And then this last bit will be fine. And you'll see I distress all the edges. I decide that I want each of the ends to taper, so you will see me just pulling little bits off each of the ends before distressing with my Tim Holtz edge distresser, just to get these roughed up and nice and textured before adding just a single strip of tape down the middle. And straight away, look, I add that one down and it's too high. I don't know why I added it so high on the page. So we'll have to pull the strips up once I've stuck them all down and repeat the process. You'll see that shortly. So just continuing, as I say, just to stick these down. I don't want too much of a gap between each of the papers, and I do want them offset slightly against one another, so you can see I've stepped the second strip in against the first one, and then this third one I'm going to put slightly to the right, and I do like the look that that gives on the page. So you see there it's just stepped out a little bit, so again pulling off those corners just so that it tapers at the end, and then roughing up the edges just to create texture, and then sticking them down. So we've gone to Loughborough for James. He was doing a course at the university through his weightlifting, and this was the first time that he'd been, so we decided that we would go and spend the night in a travel lodge while he was at the university, and then we could take him home the evening of the next day. And it was great fun. I'd never been to Loughborough before. I remember years ago, gosh, when I was applying for universities, it was the sporting university and still is a sporting excellence centre, and so it was really fun to go and see it and see what all the fuss was about. It's quite a small town. I hadn't realised just how small it was, but it was beautiful. Lots of really nice restaurants and cafes, of course. So now that all of those strips are stuck down and I've managed to remove them, I'm now going to add some faux stitching across each of those strips. So I've just grabbed a black gel pen and my ruler, and then I'm going to add dots all the way across. I'm just making sure that the line, because it's going across the ends of those papers, that it does go slightly underneath, just so that it looks like a continual line. And then I grabbed a slightly thicker marker pen and I just added dots across each of those lines, all of them across each of them, so it looks like where the needle would have gone in the paper had I stitched them. So now I'm going to mat the photo. So I start with white cardstock, and then I'm going to pull in some of the papers from this collection. This is a beautiful collection, but it's very pastel. And I realise that I definitely struggle with pastel colours. I love pastel blues, I love doing tone on tone, monochromatic layouts, but having a whole wad of pastel papers is a lot for me. I'm really pleased with the way it's turned out, but it was a struggle. I think it also didn't help. I don't have a huge number of embellishments. Almost all the embellishments in this collection that I have left are rainbows or cut apart, so like journaling cards and things. So not a lot of variety really when I'm building up clusters. You'll see me struggle, and I do bring in some other stash, and this is quite a long video for that reason, because I'm just trying to work out exactly what to do. But for these mats, I decided to stick with the tone-on-tone papers. So I started with the, well, it's not tone-on-tone, but the mint green with the white polka dots. And then I've got this pink with white stripes on, like a ledger paper. The reverse of that is this lovely Ditsy Daisy. So I'm just going to use that little scrap in the corner here. And then I will come in after that's stuck down with a blue. It's similar to the paper that I've used on the background, but it was all blues and it's just a scrap that I had left. So I add that to the mats as well, just to create a bit of interest behind the photo. The photo's a close-up of the two of us, as you can see, and so it's very monotone really in the colours. So it's almost like using a black and white photo using this picture. So bringing these other colours into the background just creates a bit of interest there. So working with the torn edge that I already have on this paper, and then I'm just trimming it down just as a very fine mat behind all the other papers there. And then once again I'll come in with my edge distresser, and then I can start building the layout. Just making sure that all those edges are nicely roughed up. And I do stick this flat down onto the page, I think. I'm saying that and I'm doubting. No, I didn't. I do add some foam pads to it. Gosh, I only did this yesterday and I already can't remember. So that title that says Smile is from some older thickers. I'm still on my mission to use something old every time I create a layout. These papers are already pretty old, but that thicker title is much older. So I wanted to get that down. So just messing about with the pieces. So I pulled out this title piece that says You Are a Rainbow, and I quite like the look of that on the page, so I'll probably add that as well. And there were some tone-on-tone pieces that I could use. There's a little butterfly that I've added to the orange slice there, and I'm just looking through, and you can see it's mainly tags and journaling spots and cut aparts that I've got there on the right hand side. So I'm really struggling, and there are, like I say, there are a lot of rainbows in the stickers, the foam stickers and everything else. So I pull out my Crafty Garden collection from 49 Market here. I've just got the ephemera pieces, and I think these colours will go nicely with the page. So I'm just going to go through and see what I can find. I see this little title piece that says My Heart is Happy, and I do end up using that, and also this lovely dragonfly butterfly, I'm not sure, I think it's a dragonfly, on the right hand side. And then start pulling out leaves and daisies and think about using those, but well, they're buttercups I think, aren't they? But you'll see I faff. I do cut this out of the video because I faff forever trying to work out what to do, but in the end it just doesn't work for me. So the only piece that I use is that little dragonfly, and then My Heart is Happy title that goes onto the photo. The rest will get cleared away in due course. So I'm just bringing back in the bits that I'd previously pulled out to see how they're going to sit on the layout. And again, this layout, I think it took me over an hour in the end to create this. So I have cut some of the faffing out just so that you don't have to sit through a half-hour video from me, because I do speed this up to double time. But yeah, it was a struggle, and I'm not quite sure why. I think part of it, like I say, is to do with the fact that it's pastel colours, and part of it's to do with the fact that I just didn't have many bits to bring in to create my clusters. So here I am adding my foam pads to the back of the photo. The Sticks 225mm foam pads, which come on a roll. We sell at Hey Little Magpie. They really are fabulous. So they just raise the photo up a little bit over all that texture, and then I'm finding some bits to tuck in behind. I'm going to create a bit of a diagonal from the top left to bottom right, so I'm just building up that cluster on the bottom right hand corner of the photo. So I've got a little envelope full of flowers, and then another floral piece which I've just tucked in behind. That's how my title is going to sit on the photo. There's quite a lot of blank space on this, with our heads at the top and then just our bodies and hair. A lot of hair in this photo cascading down, so it's fine to cover some of that bit up at the bottom. So bringing in some foam pads to raise up that You Are a Rainbow title, just so that I can overlap the left hand side onto the bottom corner of that photo underneath the title. So that goes there, and then I'll bring in the thicker and beige "My Heart is Happy" flag. So just peeling off the backings. Now that is another Sticks 2 foam roll, and it's 6x12mm foam pieces, so great for smaller bits. So just checking that I'm happy with the positioning of that. And there's the foam title and the chipboard, the cardboard piece above. So just building up some rainbows at the top here, just to create that diagonal that I was talking about. As you can see, so many rainbows in this collection. It is called Rainbow Avenue, so I suppose there's a reason. So just gluing down that title. It's stuck to the backing paper pretty well because they're older thickers, so just adding a bit of glue to help it stay in place. And then also that dragonfly, and I've just put the glue on the body and left the wings to fly free. And then just messing about with these bits at the bottom. I've got these 2 banners, and I'm not exactly sure how I want them to sit, but I do get there in the end after a little bit of fiddling. So there we go. Much happier now. So now going into the sticker sheet and just finding some tone-on-tone pieces that I can add. There are some florals and some butterflies. Just adding the yellow to the yellow section, the blue to the blue section, and so on. Not sure about this green flower, but I do get there in the end. A little bow at the top there. Now that does go, you'll see we're heading for a disaster. But I did manage to save it, but I was really annoyed with myself. You'll see in a bit. I decided to add some mixed media and it didn't go terribly well. So just messing about with stickers and things, and then gluing things down. Have to commit. So just seeing what else I can add. There's still plenty more tone-on-tone pieces that I can add from this 6x12 sticker sheet, so just popping those down. I really like this birdie, and I end up bringing it to the right hand side, and it just sort of finishes that cluster off quite nicely. So I have him sitting on the faux stitching that I created. There we go. I'll just get another bits glued down again, because the stickers are quite old. They do need a little bit of help. I find stickers on 6x12 sheets do tend to need help anyway. The adhesive isn't the best on top of scrapbooking paper. It may be the finish on the papers that means that they don't stick quite so well. And then just going in with some of the phrases. That orange one says beautiful, the yellow one, I love you. I've got precious memories on the left hand side in a minute, and that one says happy, and create memories up at the top there. And family at the bottom. So it's filling up really nicely. I'm feeling happier about the way that I'm clustering things and creating this layout from what felt was nothing. Like I said, it's just the embellishments. I really need to sort that out. I need to go through some other collections and see what I can mix in with this to make it easier next time I reach for it, because they are beautiful papers. It was just a bit of a struggle. And then these are the new pink fresh drops that my friend Gwen had mentioned bringing into the Hey Little Magpie shop, and they're beautiful. They're ombre glitter drops, and they're really dainty and very, very pretty, and they just add a little bit of sparkle. So just adding a couple of clusters of those about the page, in threes of course. I don't think I make you watch me glue those down, but I'm just positioning them for now. And these are the ones that are ombre from gold to silver. They're really pretty. I can't remember the name of them, but they're on the Hey Little Magpie website if you're interested, from Pink Fresh Studio. So there we go. So they're all glued down. And now I'm going through the foam stickers. Again, just some little scattery bits to add. There are some hearts that I've added, tone on tone once again, and some little buttons that I add as well. Haven't glued that bow down just yet, but I will do. So just finishing off on the second sheet of stickers just to see what else I can add. And this is where I realise I need to glue that bow. I'm not in love with that cluster at the top there, but it's fine, you know. I think sometimes you just have to take the wins. I don't tend to spend hours and hours on my pages. I just want them done. And then I love the creative process, but I do get bored if I spend too long on a layout. So just, as I mentioned before, just sticking all these stickers down with glue, just to make sure that they do stay in place, because they would eventually fall off in the page protector if I didn't do that. And now, of course, adding my tab, and I've just realised while I'm doing this voiceover, I'm looking at the layout and I didn't add the date yet. I just need to double check. I know it was November 23, but I just need to double check the date so I can use my roller date stamp to get that down there. So this is where it all goes horribly wrong. I pull out this Lindy's Magical, I think it's called Blue Whale. It's a beautiful powder. Bring a little bit into the water that I've spritzed on my mat, and then add some splatters. It's really dark. I hadn't realised just how dark. It would have dried a little bit lighter, but I panicked and thought, right, I'll get some packaging and just use the packaging technique on top of those splatters to just smear the ink out a little bit so it has a base to sit on. So here's that little bit of packaging, but I go all over the stickers. I think I'm just in a panic. You can see I'm trying to blend it out. So then I bring my brush in with some water and just start to blend that colour all the way over the layout. So I add some splatters with some watered down bits, and then bring it further up the layout and right the way across in between all those strips of paper and everything. So this does kind of resolve it. That top corner is a mess, but I will do something with that in due course. So just adding some splatters, very watered down because it was quite concentrated when I started, and then just bringing this ink in between these strips and then watering it down and blending it all the way through the page. So just trying to blend that corner out, not quite sure what to do there really. Blend it much further so it goes right to the edge of that pink strip and all the way around these other strips. So I'm nearly out of paint on my glass mat now, but there's enough to keep moving it across the page. These Lindy's Magicals are ever so concentrated because they are pure mica powder and pigment. So this is where I decided to turn my attention to that top corner. I know it's a mess and I want to resolve it. There's no way of cleaning that ink off that rainbow. So at first I think about sticking this foam one over the top, but that doesn't really work for me either. So I end up pulling up the messed up one. I don't like throwing things away. I hate waste, but this is just beyond salvageable. So just pulling that up and the bow, and then I'm going to add some rainbows in their place. So I've got this one here and the foam one, and I am going to blend in the ink around it. So switch that one out for the one with more oranges in. I just think they were all looking the same up there, so I just wanted to switch that out. There's the foam one that's going to go there on that edge, just pulling up that bow and then sticking that down. Has to go there because I managed to pull a load of the pink paper up as well, so that's where it's at. I'll stick this in the middle of that white space where the other rainbow was, and then I'm just going to carefully blend the paint around that just subtly, so it's still a different colour from the rest of it, but it kind of blends it in rather than being absolutely white. So there we go, that's that, and that's the layout done. Let me know what you think. I think I salvaged it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.